Hello there, this is Mikhail or Michael speaking, and without wasting your time, let's jump straight to Bakhmut. So, here's the situation yesterday, and here's the situation today. As you can see, Russians had advanced slowly in a couple of the city blocks. Presented by the arrows here are the directions of Russian attacks. They are fighting in the outskirts of the Bakhmut city here and had entered the city and now fighting for the city center on this sector. As you can see, the arrow here had disappeared, but reports are that Russians are fighting over the Bakhmutka river. But again, going over the river is hard, so it is safe to say that the Russians on this side of the river are more reliant on the other forces that are attacking Bakhmut. You can see that there's also a Russian attack going on here. Heavy fighting reported in this factory. Ukrainians are holding their strong. It's hard to attack this place due to its overall structural system, and there are actually underground tunnels that lead in and out, so Ukrainians can easily supply this place with all ammunitions and people they need. Again, very close to what happened in Mariupol, in Azovstal. Let's hope it will not turn to the meat grinder that the Azovstal was. From Bakhmut we go a bit to the north, where Russians are continuously attacking towards overall direction of village of Ivanivsky to cut off this road right here. As you can see, the gray area had slightly extended. The gray area in this sense is contested Russian territory, or so-called claimed Russian territory. Both Ukrainians and Russians are reporting that the Wagner groups had achieved some success in this area. So once again, this part of the road is still unusable, basically because Russians are fighting in this sector and Ukrainians are using this part of the road. Basically, Russians had already disrupted Ukrainian supply lines significantly. So this road is the only one left, and if Russians will establish fire control over it, well, maybe this will be the end of Bakhmut. Speaking of that, if we go to the north of Bakhmut, we can see that Russians are fighting in these directions. There are fighting reporting for the village of Chromove, as well as the Russians are attacking towards village of Bogdanivka. But as you can see, no changes had appeared on this front, but some changes had appeared at the direction of Bogdanivka, once again proving that Russians are advancing. And they're also, as you can see, advancing not only in the direction of the Bogdanivka, but also Krukharivka. From here we go a bit more up, where lies the city of Dubovo-Vasiliivka, which Russians had recently captured, and the village of Orikhovo-Vasiliivka. There is a battle going on for it as of right now. Here is the change. So as you can see, Russians had advanced significantly and are now attacking Orikhovo-Vasiliivka from two sides, basically front and a flank. If we go to yesterday's situation, and remember a video I made 2 days ago where I said that Russians are using blitzkrieg tactics, and I said that Russians will attack all over the front, attacking Orikhovo-Vasiliivka and Zalesyansky from the flanks. Well, it would seem that I was actually right. Judging by the changes on the map, this is exactly what happened. So the moment Russians had made a breakthrough on this front and started attacking to the flanks of these two villages, the progress happened immediately. So Russians are extremely close to capturing Zalesyansky, as well as Orikhovo-Vasiliivka. Also, Russians are reporting that they basically had almost captured Orikhovo-Vasiliivka, or the way they phrase it, liberated Orikhovo-Vasiliivka. So once again, we can see how Russians had punched through and widened their flanks and flanked attacked the villages. As well as there's a good defensive position that Russians can establish, so it's not like Ukrainians can easily kick them out of this position. As you can see, here's the forest line. So if Russians would capture Zalesyansky, they would join this entire defense line, making it a pretty strong position for Russians to defend against whatever Ukrainians will have up here and advance even further. So I believe in a day or two, Russians will once again punch through this road right here. We'll enter this small forest, we'll fight for it, and capture it. So Russia will gain control overall in this direction. And like here, in the same manner, they would once again spread their attacks, widening the front, and attacking whatever villages that are in the way. From here we go to the Seversk front. No changes had appeared on Seversk front itself. Russians are still attacking towards village of Razdalivka and Vesely, as well as they're attacking towards village of Bilykharivka in overall attempt to capture or encircle city of Seversk. It is a heavily fortified city as well, so again Russians will probably encircle it in the manner of Bakhmut. I hope they had learned their lesson and are adapting. Some changes had occurred a bit to the west right here, near the village of Vasiyikivka, so here's the change. As you can see, Russians had advanced towards this village in attempt to capture it. From here we go to Liman. Again, a slight change had appeared here. You can see that Russians are slowly pushing. They are reporting that they had captured several Ukrainian trenches. Judging by how trenches are built, these trenches were along the forest lines right here. So Russians had captured it, but they have a bigger problem on their hand, a pretty heavily forested area, which I'm pretty sure is used by Ukrainians as a defensive strong point. So I would assume that Russians will attack in this direction first. As you can see that Russians had exposed their flanks by punching through Ukrainian defense lines. So we may expect some changes in overall this sector. Overall, the front hasn't seen any change except for this place. So from here we go all the way down to the Avdiivka city. Once again, extremely fortified and very, very close to the city of Donetsk. So Russians are extremely motivated to remove Ukrainians from this place right here because they have a good positions to artillery strike, basically the capital of self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic. So any country would want to do that, so they are fighting hard for the Avdiivka and actually didn't achieve any success until a few months. So here's the change that occurred today. So first we'll start from the south, where you can see Russians had not achieved any gains. Judging by the arrows, they are attacking in all possible directions. So from Aputny towards Avdiivka across these fields, from Vadyani towards villages of Severne and Tonenke, as well as they are attacking from Peski towards Pervomaisky, straight on and trying to flank it. As well as village of Nevelsky is under Russian attack, but Ukrainians are repelling Russians everywhere. Russians are attacking in the south of Avdiivka. Now that we're done with the south of Avdiivka, let's go to the north where the changes had occurred. Here they are. So as you can see, Russians came extremely close to the village of Kamyanka and now fighting for it, as well as they came close to this small sector right here. I'm pretty sure this is Dacha area as well. So you can see how Russians are slowly creeping to Avdiivka. Once again, it would seem that Russians had learned their lesson and now attempting to encircle the city. As you can see, Russians had established a stronghold in Krasnokharivka and now attacking from it. It would be neither in this direction towards this factory or this direction towards this set of small settlements. In any way, this is part of a bigger operation to encircle Avdiivka in the matter of Bakhmut, or at least create a cauldron from which Ukrainians will retreat and Russians will strike them on the way out. We can only speculate and wait. You can see that Russians are attacking from Novobakhmutivka and trying to capture what's left of this settlement. As you can see, no changes had occurred. Russians had captured a small portion of this field right here in overall attempt to capture Alexandropol. As you can see, it's a small settlement with just 2 roads. But again, this road is very conveniently located in the direction of the Russian attack. So if Russians would capture Alexandropol, they can use this road to attack Ukrainians more successfully. From Avdiivka, we go to Marinka. As you can see, no changes had occurred. The arrows suggested that Russians are attacking in the direction of Pobeda and in attempt to capture Marinka. The city is completely destroyed. Heavy fighting continues. As you can see, no changes on the map. And at last, from here we go to Vuglidar, when once again nothing had changed. Some people in my comment section had commented out that this map is being cheesy and not giving Russians their actual captured territory. A lot of people are suggesting that Russians are controlling much more of this territory, especially when it comes to this sector. So again, something like this. So Russians are very close to Vuhledar itself and are storming it. Overall, they're also attacking on this direction across the fields towards the mines. But again, open area, so Russians are struggling here. So, this is the end of the video. Hope you liked it. If you do, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. If you had already done so, thank you very much for your support. Your feedback makes my day so much better and promoting my videos to the more wider audience. Hope you have a good day and always remember, Russia will be free.